Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another Gunpla review, and today I'm taking a look at the Reborn 100 Hamma Hamma from Mobile Suit Gundam Double Zeta. So this is one of my first times ever looking at one of these kits in a video. In case you don't know, the whole premise behind the Reborn 100 line is basically you're getting something that's a master grade size without the master grade detail and inner frame. The external detail on these kits is meant to match that of a master grade, so you should be able to stick this in with your master grades and it not stand out too much. Basically, Bandai wants to keep the cost of these kits down, as well as be able to make some of the bigger and more unusual kits that would not be possible to be done as a master grade. And I'm guessing this kit right here is one of those kits that's too big to be made as a master grade, and when I say it's pretty big. So there it is beside the master grade Gundam The Origin, which seems to be missing its chest piece, I just noticed. I don't know when that fell off, but I better get looking. But as you can see, this thing is big and definitely dwarfs the Granddaddy. So there it is, measuring in about 22 centimeters to the top of the head, even higher to the top of the shoulders. Maybe 24 or 25? But yes, this thing is big. And finally, there it is beside the master of all Zeon kits, the master grade Sazabi, Verka. This kit right here is almost as big and as bulky as Sazabi, but there's one thing it doesn't have, and that is the sturdiness. Because this kit is a lot simpler than, say, a master grade, a lot of the joints are quite weak. For example, the ankles are quite weak, and so is that. Anyway, the ankles are quite weak as well as the knees, so they do bend quite a bit. So if you do plan on getting this guy, I highly recommend an action base. Now let's get him on there. So this kit does come with a small action base adapter, and that just slides onto this section right there. Seriously, this thing is one spiky fucker. It just put 3 holes, maybe 4, in the back of my background there, just because it keeps falling down and hitting on the spikes there. So yes, it can stand up, but it likes to fall down. So again, action base. Okay, so I will admit this isn't the greatest action base that ever graced the earth. He does wiggle quite a bit on there. I don't know how old it is. I actually seem to have glued all the parts down here and up here, and I don't remember doing that. This thing must be like 5 years old or something. Well, you could probably tell from all that dust. And this thing was in storage. But anyway, I digress. The details on this are great. The exterior details are really nice. I haven't panel lined this kit. It's literally as minimum effort as you can put in. I didn't even clean up the nub marks. So that really shows just how well designed this kit is, because they don't show up that much. So literally, this is a very, very beginner friendly kit. So if you're looking for something for a beginner, you want something big, and you want something Zeon, then this is what you want. If you're curious, this kit took me 2 hours, 45 minutes, and 34 seconds to build, and that's from start to finish, no cleaning up whatsoever. So that's just cutting it out of the runners and sticking it together. As for the details on here, everything looks great. The clear pink looks really nice, not quite as good as a master grade as you'd expect. We've got red on the boosters, verniers, the cannons in the hands, lots of pipes all around this kit. These definitely need to be given some panel line work. Most definitely. Of course, Bandai did take a lot of shortcuts with this kit. For example, these are just kind of held on like this, just very simply clipped on up here, just onto that pipe section there. And as you can see underneath, there's no detail whatsoever. So again, that's another way it varies from a master grade. But besides that, there is no denying that this thing looks absolutely breathtaking. It looks great. However, compared to a master grade, this is a kit you really would want to paint to get the absolute full potential out of it. Of course, you could say that for master grades as well, but this kit does feel a little bit too bare without the paint and detail. As for articulation, there is the head all the way up and down. We've got side to side, and I will admit the head is a little bit loose. The mono eye can also be moved right and left. A hinge joint at the shoulder, as well as rotation, which moves the entire shoulder. We've got another joint right there, so up and down. A spin right there. At this joint here, we have whoa! At the elbow joint, we've got a spin that can move all the way up and down like that. Can also spin at that point in there as well, all the way around, but my fingers are in the way. Next, this can spin as well. All these fingers can open out like that, close like that. The color scheme is really giving me some rose vibes, and you know what that means. Just like a lot of you guys said in the unboxing video, we need a Reborn 100 Rose in Zulu. Need one. As for that torso, we've got side to side ever so slightly. The side skirt armor moves up. The side skirt armor moves up. The side skirt armor moves up. Oh, for fuck's sake. The side skirt armor moves up, 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 up. Whoops. Up, up. Those front ones have quite the habit of falling off really easily. Leg to the front. Leg to the splits. Rotation. Bend at the knee. Knee armor. Ankle armor moves up and down. And as for the feet, that's side to side. Up and heels move out and in. And these two sections here are on ball joints. So we get a lot of motion out of those when they don't fall off. But anyway, as I was saying, they move around quite a bit. Up and down and slightly out and in. So there is the Reborn 100 Hamma Hamma with everything that it comes with. So what we've got in here is the shield, the beam sabers, what was referred to as the replacement elbow parts on the side of the box, but they're not, they're the extension parts for when the arms are extended, as well as some stands for holding the extended arm. First off there we have the shield. All of these little sections here are on ball joints, so you can move them in like that, out like that, and this kind of looks like a fit. Now that I've seen that, I can't unsee it. Looking to the right, looking to the left. There's also one up here. I love the fact that the emblem on here isn't a sticker, it's actually a separate part. Flip that around to the back, nice and detailed. Definitely one thing the Reborn 100 line seems to be doing is nice surface detail. These beam sabers here are only for display. They're not for using with the actual beams. When you take them off, you can see there isn't much behind those, so you take them, if you don't want them displayed on there, stick them back on. If you do, they kind of tuck in there and push in. Speaking of the actual beam sabers, they are with that little bit of a peg there to attach them. The beam is the same thing you've seen so many times before, this time in a yellow. And I know you might be saying to yourself right now, Mecha, there ain't no way these silly fingers are ever gonna hold that beam saber. And yes, they're not. This little peg section here actually jams in between all these barrels, which is really weird. And that is how it holds the beam saber. I guess then you can just close these up, but that doesn't really make any difference whatsoever. So that right there is the most unique way I've ever seen a beam saber be held. Goodbye. Okay, so finally moving on to the most interesting aspect about this kit, and that is the replacement elbow section. So you pull this, take this out, and remove this part entirely. Then this section here sticks in there like that. The yellow section is made out of a flexible kind of rubbery plastic. It's both flexible, but at the same time kind of retains its pose to a degree. As for the wire, it comes in big, long pieces like this. You cut them up according to the manual and just kind of slot them through. You do get quite a bit of extra wire in case you make a mistake, but to be honest, it's very simple. That section there then connects right in there. Just like so. That doesn't pop in all the way, that is a bit confusing. Then off with the hand, on with the second extended, and that hand slots onto that like so. As you can see, on its own it does look a little bit impotent, but we do have two sets of stands. The first type just slots in there like so, and the second one has this little bit of a cradle here, and that slots onto this part like that. So there we go, this part here is a little bit too short to actually touch the ground unless this is kind of bent down like that. Of course you can just take these parts here for example, if it was on an action base, these would need to be that little bit higher, so you can just pop this piece off. Actually no, you pop this piece off, stick it in there, and there you go, as long as you want it. So that is it for the review and my first look at a Reborn 100 kit. Technically, this is like a master grade, but it's all looks and no substance. And I mean that in the best possible way. It is a very, very nice kit. Definitely something I like, but it's something you'll need to put a lot of extra effort into. Definitely something similar to the Iron-Blooded Orphans 100 kits. But from the 2 or 3 Reborn 100 kits I've built, I would say they are a little bit better than the Iron-Blooded Orphans kits. The Iron-Blooded Orphans kits do feel like upscaled high grades with some extras, but these kits right here are built from the ground up to be what they are. It's just that they need that little bit of extra effort to make them better. A little bit of detailing here and there, as well as tightening up the joints, will bring this thing from being pretty good to being absolutely fantastic. And if you're someone who entirely paints or modifies your kits, then this thing is exactly what you want. Essentially, this thing is big, but it is basic. If you're a Zeon fan though, you don't really have a whole lot of choice when it comes to 1/100 scale kits, so in that case I would recommend it. So the final word is, if you just really need to have a model kit of the Hamma Hamma, or you're a massive Zeon fan, then get it. However, if you're just looking for a big cool kit at about 4,000 or 5,000 yen, then I really think there are better options out there. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. As always, make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews. If you feel inclined, leave a like as it really helps out the channel. And as always, I'll see you next time.